What's going on, everyone? It's the Fantasy Football Almanac back at it with another fantasy football video. Today we're going to be discussing waiver wire pickups for week 6 of the 2022 fantasy football season. But before we get into it, if you guys could, please go down, give this video a like, give this video a comment. I'm answering every single fantasy football related comment, whether you have two people you're deciding between on waiver wire, trades, start sits, anything. I am more than happy to help you guys all out. And subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on so you do not miss another video, and you can destroy your league mates. With that out of the way, let's hop right into it with our first waiver wire pickup for the week. So for the first three guys, I just want to put a disclaimer. They are over 50% rostered, but if these guys are on your waiver wire, you should absolutely be going out and targeting them. The first guy is Kenneth Walker, 61% roster right now, with Rashad Penny out for the season. Kenneth Walker is going to be walking into, no pun intended, a ton of volume. He only had 8 carries this past week, but he was filling in for the stead of Rashad Penny. But he did get 58% of snaps. They drafted this guy in round 2, so clearly they are trusting of this guy to be that fill-in role if it was needed for Rashad Penny. Unfortunately, it was, because he is one of the most injury-prone players in the NFL. I feel terrible for the person, but it's just the case. So we should see Kenneth Walker rest of season be a low-end RB2, high-end flex. Honestly, maybe even a middle-of-the-pack running back too. I would go out and spend tons of fab. I mean, this is the #1 waiver wire pickup of this season if he's still in free agency somehow. But go out and get him. That was just my first disclaimer. The second player is wide receiver Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers is just a target machine, averaging 9 targets a game to start the season. If you're getting that, I mean, it's at least a good volume play, a nice floor wide receiver. Yes, he might not have the ceiling of some of these other players, but his floor is really, really solid. And what more can you ask for in a wide receiver in fantasy, especially if you're in a deeper league? I would absolutely go out and get him. You could even start him some weeks and be guaranteed 8 points. And then the last guy is Raheem Mostert. He is 70% rostered on Sleeper right now, so I mean, he probably isn't in free agency, but if he is, go pick him up. This guy's had almost 20 opportunities a game over the past 2 weeks, 15 carries and 18 carries to go along with 3 targets both weeks. I would absolutely go out and get him. These 3 guys are essential to have on your rosters if they are somehow in free agency. But that was just a nice little disclaimer because they are over 50% rostered. Now, though, let's get into the under 50% rostered guys that I think you need to go out and get. The first of which is a tight end. It's Taysom Hill. And we know what Taysom Hill is. He's one of the most unpredictable players in the entire NFL. One of the weirdest players in the entire NFL. We know he gets guaranteed rushing volume and he has plays scripted to him. And he just had 4 touchdowns this last week. Well, his downside is not being utilized in the game and only getting 1.4 fantasy points. He does have the upside to have 4 touchdowns, as we just saw, 3 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown, which saps volume from everyone. I'm a big Chris Olave owner, so it was a little painful seeing Taysom Hill sap 4 total touchdowns from the team, but Chris Olave still did get a touchdown, so I'm not too mad. But there are very few players with the amount of upside that Taysom Hill has, and in a landscape where most other tight ends just stink, I think Taysom Hill is fine to go out and get, unless you have a Mark Andrews or a Travis Kelce. I would go out and get Taysom Hill. I would probably spend about 15-20% of my fab on him. He is 27% rostered right now, so well under the roster threshold. But that's it for Taysom Hill. Now let's move on to our next guy, a running back named Eno Benjamin. And well, yes, Eno Benjamin did have a lot of competition for rushing workload. It was clear to start the season that he was going to be operating as the running back 2 in this offense behind James Conner. And now we see James Conner go down dealing with the rib injury. We are not expecting it to be long-term, but I still think it is worth picking up Eno Benjamin for a weekly flyer. And then Darrell Williams is questionable to return for week 5, but even if we do see him return, he probably will return in limited capacity. So I'm expecting Eno to handle the bulk of the volume. And if that's the case, I pretty much view him as 80% of what James Conner was. Will be utilized getting 4 or 5 targets a game, and probably around 12 to 15 carries, which is a running back 2 rental for a couple weeks. We have seen in the past, James Conner has never played a full healthy season in the NFL. So I think Eno Benjamin's at least worth a flyer. You could also sell him to the James Conner owner. Say, listen, I'll trade you him and someone else, but I want a good running back, a good wide receiver. The next guy I want to talk about, we got another Seahawk on this list, Geno Smith. If you don't have Geno Smith is not rostered, and you're in a 1-quarterback league, I'd say it's fair to go out and roster him. But if you're in a 2-quarterback league, this guy is absolutely essential. I mean, he is the quarterback 6 on the season right now, only having 1 bad week. All his other weeks, 17, 19, 31, and 24. What the heck? This is Geno Smith. I didn't even know this was possible, but Geno Smith looks like a baller out there. He does have great wide receivers in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Decent running game with Kenneth Walker. They did pick up Charles Cross as well in the first round of the NFL draft. And while I think he could regress, there are a lot of people out there who have the Matt Staffords, the Carson Wentz's, the Dak Prescotts who need a quarterback. And I mean, I would say Geno Smith is an absolutely fine replacement. He just looks so good. It's crazy to me how good he looks, but I think he's absolutely worth a roster spot. In 2 quarterback leagues, I mean, he is absolutely essential. If he is somehow on the waiver wire in 2 quarterback leagues, go out and get him. But even in 1 quarterback leagues, I'd say he's at least worth a bench spot, as long as your bench is more than 5 or 6 players. All right, so the next guy I want to talk about is Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is only 21% rostered right now, but is averaging 7 targets a game and over 70 yards a game. He is sapping volume for Michael Pittman, and I mean, he's gotten second-round draft capital, which is really good at the wide receiver position, and his snap count is only increasing as time goes on. I'm absolutely fine going out and getting Alec Pierce here. I think he's absolutely worth at least a stash on your rosters, because if he does ascend to become this wide receiver 1, that is absolutely fine. But anyways, guys, that is it for my waiver wire video. These are the main 5 pickups that I would go out and get for this upcoming week on the waiver wire. Please let me know if you have any questions down below. I'm more than happy to answer any fantasy football related comment. And give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out on another fantasy football video. Again, that is it for me. I hope you guys all did enjoy. And as always, have a good day, a good night, and a good life.